last year and stuff where we were a full % or more lower
Yeah.
than this time last year.
Sorry about that.
Hi.
We're talking about interest rates, but I guess, yeah.
Here we go.
That gap has decreased.
Ah.
The gap between
Where we were in terms of interest rates, you know, at one point last year, we were about a full % lower, you know, year over year basis.
yeah.
Now we're only about 3/8%, which is 0.375. So we've lost.
Oh, so they went up a little bit more this week? I thought they dropped back down a little bit. They went up a little bit more. Oh, happy day.
Yeah, I was just telling Tracy, it's like somebody pulled the e-brake going down the 405 going 80 miles an hour.
Right. Yeah, that's
Flying out the front windshield.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yep.
I think I'm going to be a casualty of that. My wife's going to kill me.
Oh no! You didn't reply in time.
You never know.
No.
You never know. I'll touch on it. You know, you can't have everything just come to a screeching halt like that and not have lasting impact and side effects, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it's just a spasm. Right. And we'll wait a couple of minutes to get this started today. I think we have oh, wireproof, great. How's everybody doing? Am I missing anything? Yeah.
Grateful that it didn't rain on the award day. That would have been a mess.
Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually
Rained
warm
down.
and beautiful during awards day. It was
A little wash. Let's wash this. City could use a little wash down, right?
It's raining here right now.
Yeah.
Same here.
There is nothing like this city the day after a good rain. Like it's like I got a new pair of glasses.
Yep. Smells so good. It's clear. It's
Smells
clean.
good. It's just so crisp. Like, you know, you look at the hills and like I said, it's like a new pair of glasses. It's really.
When I give the kids a bath.
You know, something flying around my face. All right. Give it another minute or so. All right. There we go. Got the new. Did the link work on the email that went out today for some of you?
Yeah.
Oh, it did? Oh, because it didn't work. My link did not work. He had to resend one.
It didn't work for me either, but I got in by just getting into Zoom and putting in the meeting code and passcode. I got in, but the link didn't work.
Yeah, he said he sent a new one, so.
That's how I got in too, Tracy. The
Yeah.
link didn't work for me
Look at
either.
you're, you know, apparently you can teach an old dog new tricks. You
You go, Clint.
you found a workaround.
Yes.
Oh, you thought I was just talking about Clint? Like the way she pushed that over to you, Clint. Nice.
I'm older than you are, Joey, I know.
Yes, well,
I don't appreciate being called an old dog, so.
Well,
respect that. Me neither.
I'm not 30 anymore, I know that. So.
Yeah. Take it back. All right, let's at least start with big time thunder in the OC. Vince said it's thunder and lightning in the OC. Oh, Rob too.
Yep.
Oh, that's the best. Your guys are closer to the mountains, right?
Yeah. Yeah. My girls don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
You know, they don't like the boom booms.
Right. But it, you know, I have this amazing memory of being in torrential downpour in, I believe it was Delaware. We're driving from like Delaware to Philadelphia or Maryland to Philadelphia. And it was flat farmland as far as you could see. and it was torrential, and just like the whole horizon was just like these lightning bolts hitting the ground. It was just one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Like just the whole horizon just kept coming. It was like, it was spiritual experience. But we stopped the car because the windshields could not go fast enough in the 1980s, apparently 90s, yeah. All right, let's get the party started, right, Cam? Ba-ba-bum.
Let's do it. Are you able to see the screen?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Let's get started.
Absolutely. Let's tell me something good, right? That's what I want to ask. What do you guys got? What do you got to share this week? Tell me again. Non-real estate related is absolutely welcome also.
I'll give a shout out because we said this. In the
Oh, go ahead.
Tim had recommended In and of Itself on Hulu,
Yeah.
and Joe, you recommended it too. So I followed your guys' recommendation and watched it over the weekend with Rebecca, and just really, really cool. I won't say more about it other than just watch it. It is pretty mind blowing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's hard to describe, isn't it now?
Sort of magic, sort of. I don't know, but it's not really. It's not. If it's magic, it's not what you would typically see at a magic. Like it's not something it's not something you would see at the Magic Castle, but it's still sort of maybe magic. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an oversimplification to call it magic.
Yeah,
I would say.
yeah.
But there's definitely some magical stuff involved, right?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of fun.
I agree.
And a very heartwarming piece too. It was not, it touched on some deeper topics. It's kind of cool. So.
Yeah. You'll get spooked.
Definitely
You'll
gets
cry.
emotional.
Yes.
Hey, Joey, it's Lorna. I have something to say.
Come on.
Okay, I'm blacked out today. Sorry. And I didn't want to wait till fill the bucket, but Tracy and I have to give 2 shout outs. The first one is to Raha, who TC'd a 2-day escrow.
2 days.
2-1-2-1-2. Yes, Raha. And the second one who is to Andy, who never fails to get these deals closed ahead of time and make everybody on everywhere else just look like they're standing still because she is just so super bad. So Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you so much, Raha.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Our pleasure.
It's
I'm gonna back up with Andy, kudos, because I have a buyer right now that originally came to me with another lender, and I said, well, let's just get you also, attached to my lender. And Andy has found so many things that would have sunk my buyer. In fact, her and I were texting about it earlier this morning. So thank you, because my buyer is going to be safe once the deal goes through. Whereas with this other one, it would have just been a world of hurt. So she's very good on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about relational equity for a second, right? And just in the, it works both ways. Raha and Andy will go the extra mile. Will always, their natural inclination is to go the extra mile. But Tracy and Lorna share so much gratitude and love that it builds up a relational, equity. Like, so Andy wants to help them in any way possible, and more, right? And so be conscious of building up that equity with your team and people that you that are important to the way you do business. It's Andy and Raha are part of Lorna and Tracy's team, right? That's the way they
100%.
view them, and they're grateful at that level. And so and so it works in this beautiful. You get beautiful results from that. Does that make sense?
It totally does. And the lucky thing for all of you guys is that they can be on your team too.
So that's my point. That's my point.
Listen, we're like the Chris Cuomo and Don Lemons of real estate. We don't hesitate to say, I love you. Thank
Not
you so
at
much.
all.
You're the best. You're my sis. We are Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon.
That's right.
And we mean every word of it.
Those two, like the transitions, you got to keep them from making out with each other.
Oh my God, that's my favorite part of both of their shows is the transition between the
The
two of them.
transition between, it's always a love
It's
fest.
so much
and a
love.
pass-off.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
It's like, all right, yeah, I got it. You guys respect and love each other.
It's such a wonderful thing, especially these days.
I agree. I absolutely don't trivialize it, even though I
Yeah.
just did. All right. Anybody else want to share something good? All right. Let's move on to our agenda here, right? All right. Happenings this week. I know it's going to be the morning wrap up, the morning rev up. And
It's the morning check-in. It's the morning check-in. Okay, so usually I tell you how it's a shot of espresso for your business, and it's true. But I gotta say honestly, just because someone pointed out to me, like, it's a lot more than that. We usually bring up a topic every morning. We share on it for like 5 or 10 minutes, sometimes 15. And it's sometimes it's more strategic or whatever, and sometimes it's a little more loose, but it's really cool. Like you pick up so much, a couple of new people were just sharing how much they've just learned just from like, you think like we're just kidding around and having fun. And these new people are just like,
sometimes we are.
and it's like, they're getting to really, fine tune hone their skills, learning all these things that these little tidbits of information that are passed along. So thank you for that.
Yesterday was great. All the senior stuff I learned yesterday between Michelle and Rob.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we pull inspiration from all sorts of places, oftentimes from within our group, sometimes from like folks like Simon Sinek, great real estate minds like Jimmy Buffett, Elmer Fudd. Sometimes, I mean, you never know where the inspiration is going to come from. That's going to bring some knowledge to the group, right? So yeah, we do some gratitude. We do some like committing to some objectives and goal setting stuff. So it's really cool. I hope anybody who wants to, there's always room for more.
Why don't you just slide right into your coaching corner, Ed?
For the coaching corner, what I got for you guys,
Next.
on page 260, do I have it with me here? Yeah, give me 1 second. No, I don't. I brought it to work. Page 262 of the MREA book. Well, I have it. We've been using this in coaching. So on page 262, there's 16 items there, and it's kind of like a recap of like, anytime when you find yourself off in the weeds and you're like, okay, I need to kind of recenter myself. There's a list of 16 items. We're not going to go over all of them right now, but there's 16 items here that you can just go through this list, and it's kind of like a checklist, like a check engine light. And you can just kind of go through there and say like, okay, how am I doing with this? Am I willing to sustain a solid lead generation program that emphasizes marketing and consistently increases the number of leads? Yeah, that's okay. And you could give yourself a grade on each one of these things, and it'll help you kind of identify, in any given moment, what needs some attention and extra love if you feel like you're not firing on all cylinders. So that's kind of what we've been doing throughout coaching this month, is just kind of going through that and kind of fine tuning, because last month was all about listings. So this month we're just kind of go through and kind of fine tune everybody. And then next month we're going to go through all about buyers. So anyways, that's my tip for the day.
All right, I got it in front of me.
There you go.
Let's get that going. All right. All right.
What page again?
Page 262. I'll put it in the chat.
262. All right. Next is. What do you got next there, Cam? Ignite this week. All right. What do we have for Thursday and Friday? I think we're near the end almost. Contract to close tomorrow. That's me. I'll try to keep it under. Actually, I taught it in 1 hour and 15 last time, so I'm getting better. It's a great class for agents to kind of see the linear nature of the deal, right? sign contract, collect your check, and everything in between, right?
By the way, Joey's contract to close class is just awesome. Contract to close, yeah. I highly recommend everybody jump on there. It's like, he just kind of dissects like who does what throughout I'd never heard, before I took Joey's class on teaching that, I'd never heard it explained like that. And I found it for myself really useful. I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. I'd never like really thought about who's doing what throughout escrow. And it's really, it gives you such an overview of who's doing what that kind of is just great to remind yourself about. So anyways, there's my plug-in for that.
Thanks. Friday is Tracy, Market Center specific. Tracy, what are you teaching on Friday?
Market Center specific.
I think this is Cam's just learning to work it out. So the Market Center, it's a class that we can plug in, right? But if we don't have a plug-in for it, then I assume there's no class.
There is a class. There's a class. I'm teaching the class. It's on Market Center specific. Yes. So show up and you'll learn about Market Center specifics.
Okay.
I can't give away everything now.
Is that like 15 minutes on how to work Joey for whatever you need?
You got it.
It'll probably take about 3 minutes, right? Talk about relational equity. I mean, you know.
Let me give a plug for Ignites. Let me just say, I pop in when I can, when my schedule allows, and I popped into Christina's, and you learn. I mean, we are really blessed with this office that we have such talent in this office. And when people share from their experience, it is a major, major thing, because sometimes you get little tips or little ways that people do things and you're like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. And then the cool thing is these are recorded. So people, you can jog around the block, you can go on your elliptical or your Peloton or your Stairmaster, and you can still watch these and get educated. So take advantage, because this is a gem that we have.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, they get posted every single day. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday on the YouTube channel. Literally, we try to keep up with it all the time. And also, I have zero real estate experience, just from the few classes I've been able to sit on. I've learned things where, you know, it's just little tips and tricks. Again, I have zero any type of qualification. If I'm learning, that means you'll definitely learn, and we'll be able to take away some things too. So definitely hop on it. It's great.
Excellent. Yay.
Someone was asking me for the link for the YouTube channel. I'm going to go pull it up right now and put it in the chat bar, just FYI.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next we have Howie. I don't think Howie's on today. Let's move past that. I know everybody else is on. Andy, she'll be talking.
It's me. I'll be talking. I talked about it last week. Lots and lots and lots of volatility with rates. We've seen them creep up over the last 3.5 weeks. The reason for that is because of inflation fears, the weakening of the dollar. The more money that the feds print, the weaker the dollar gets. But by the same turn, goods are becoming more expensive. So not a great situation. Year over year for applications for purchases are flat, which is crazy because there was one point last year where we were up 25, 30, 40%. They are now flat. And a lot of that could be attributed to low inventory. Obviously, with lack of inventory, there are less people applying for loans. On a year over year basis, at one point last year, we were over a full % lower in interest rates. That gap has decreased. We're now about 3/8 or 0.375 lower than where we were last year. So if that gives you a little bit of indication on how much rates have ticked up. On average, we're hovering around 3.25%, much different than 2.75% where we were a few weeks ago, a few months ago. There's a Fed meeting this week. It's going to be key in terms of figuring out what they're going to do and how they're going to step in. This isn't abnormal for mortgage rates. When there's sort of a knee-jerk reaction on the market and all of a sudden we see this spike, generally speaking, the Feds jump in, they figure out a game plan so that the rug doesn't get pulled out, so to speak. And that's not to sound too dramatic, but they are meeting this week. They're talking about something called Operation Twist. The Fed historically puts money in and buys mortgage-backed securities and so forth. That helps with interest rates. It helps stabilize interest rates. Generally speaking, when investors are not purchasing mortgage-backed securities, they're going into the stock market and back the other direction. When the stock market's bad, they then invest in mortgage bonds. Long story short, the Feds are meeting to figure out, are they going to sell short-term bonds and put more money into long-term bonds, i.e. 30-year mortgages? That's this week. The jobs report came out for February. That impacts interest rates as well. The jobs report, they were expecting about 165,000 job creations, came in at about 117. So not great. It creates a little bit of uncertainty in mortgage-backed securities in the market and so forth. So that's where we're at. Rates are up. They're still low. I mean, 0.3% from last year certainly increases somebody's buying power, but by the same token, somebody that was pre-qualified a month and a half ago at 2 3/4 or 2.875 is going to qualify a little differently because rates are up. That's it. That's the mortgage minute.
I mean, as a gross generalization, it's probably about $40,000 or $50,000 worth of buying power that they lost.
Depends,
Depends. Yeah, I'm saying like a gross generalization.
Yeah. That's it.
Andy. I know it's dramatic for you, but let's keep let's float up a layer, right? 3.25% is a ridiculously low. It's high for car purchase. It's ridiculously low for property mortgage, right?
Yes, it is. It is still incredibly low, but you know how it is.
I know it's all. I'm
You
just
get
trying to
used-
create some perspective on, on the rate itself, which is still rate, right?
Yes.
I thought I was doing great things at 3.75, right? And while it's not 2.75, it's still a half a point lower than what I have.
Yeah. It's still very low, but certainly there's impact, for the last
Absolutely.
however long, 8-9 months,
Yes.
when people get used to seeing 2.75 and 2.875 and a sub 3 rate, there's a little bit of sticker shock. So anyway, that's where we're at. I'm here.
Say it with a smile, Andy.
What's up?
Say it with a smile. There you go.
It is what it is, right?
Absolutely.
This industry and market is always changing. And I'll tell you, it's, I work with agents all over town and buyers all over town. And I was having a discussion. The market looks different than it did 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. It's different.
Yeah.
In terms of buyers and offers and just the environment is completely different than it was just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Any particular
Andy,
way?
can you be, Andy, can be more specific what you mean about different?
Yeah, I just mean it feels like there's more of a, I don't want to say a frantic push. Properties are coming in, certainly more offers. I mean, a few months ago, towards the end of the year, things were certainly competitive, But now I'm talking to agents and they're going, we're writing offers on a daily basis and it's torture. It's torture. I mean, you know, $200,000-$300,000 over, and you think you're going in with a solid offer, and people aren't even getting countered. And I don't feel like it was that aggressive at the beginning of January, even at the end of last year.
I agree.
What price point are you seeing that in?
I'm seeing it at all kinds. I have, you know, I do loans of all shapes and sizes. It's really, I would say, in the bucket of, I don't know, 700 all the way up to, I would say, $1.5 million is sort of the sweet spot. Anything over though, I mean, I have a client that submitted an offer on a $4 million property. And it was, I don't want to say it was a bloodbath, but it got crazy. And she didn't get the property over ask. The property was listed for over a year.
We had one that sold for almost $230,000 over ask. We were at 2.1 or 2,098,000 and it sold for 2,325,000. We have multiple offers.
Yeah.
We got an escrow in 7 days.
Yeah, it's wild. And just, I'm sure you all know this. I was reading a report and stuff yesterday. It's a daily market update. On a national average, there's 1 month of inventory supply. That
so low. That's crazy. Oh.
It is nuts, which explains the bloodbath out there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's wild. And there is also a report that says that 24% of people that have never previously owned homes are actually in the market to purchase in the next 6 months. 24%. And that's a national percentage. And there's only 1 month of inventory. So
yeah, Eileen just put a New York Times article about it. Like, where's all the inventory going? And well, you know, also historically, people hold back inventory to the spring, right? But we've been selling through all, now some of that is, you know, stuff that couldn't sell during the beginning of COVID, but it seems like we've been fairly consistent with stuff coming on the market, sell through, you know, through November, December, January, and February, right? So maybe a lot of that stuff that we expected to come in the market in spring are just, they've been selling off too. So yeah, I mean, we're all, I haven't heard of an agent. I haven't had the conversation about seasonality and like, well, you know, really to get the best price for your property, you know, going on in March on is like, you know, the sweet spot. But people have just been coming on and plowing through it and getting, you know, the opportunities there. So they're just, the inventory flow, as anemic as it is, has been fairly consistent in those down months too.
yeah, historically, January and February for loans, usually we see a dip in applications and we see a sort of pause at the beginning of the year while things get ramped up.
No, none of that.
Not even a blip of
Yeah.
pause.
Yeah, got it. Andy, you know how I feel about you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Who do we have next? Van or Raha?
Hi, do you guys hear me?
The Raha, yep, yes, it's very meek and low, but crank it up a little bit.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still delicate.
I don't know what's going on with my audio, but I'm glad you guys can hear me at least a little. Last week was a little trouble, but I wanted to say first off, congratulations on all the awards. It was so fun seeing all of you guys, and always happy and proud to be in business with you. Everybody is still doing well on the PED forms. I'm happy you guys are staying on top of those and submitting those to the email address that we have. And the new disclosures, we've added it to our checklist, and I'm glad to see everybody's following them. If you guys still have any questions about that home fire hardening disclosure and the fair housing disclosure that were added earlier, just let me know. You can always reach out to me if you have any questions. But nothing to report, just, busy. Happy to see everyone.
The one thing that I wanted to bring up is we're transitioning to all in on command for the submission of your files. And I know that it's tedious. I know you have to put it in all the different buckets, and that there's a learning curve, but our intention is not to hold anybody's check, right? But up to now, we've been kind of saying, well, get your file together, and we're happy to give you the check. We've been holding them back a little bit. So here's the new policy moving forward. It's kind of like a one strike policy. I'm happy to release your check even if you don't have everything in place, but you have 3 days to get it in there, and if you don't, that's really the one strike. Like, we don't want to be chasing everybody. We want everybody to get their check as quickly as possible. Same day is great. But we also don't want to be chasing everyone for odd docs, and we don't want you to be chasing your clients after it either. So everybody gets their check, and it's a one strike policy. If you don't get just so we're all on the same page, you don't get your stuff in there within 3 days in the file, clean and in there in 3 days, then the next time you will have to hold your check until you get your stuff in there. All right. I'm trying to be fair and get everybody what they want, right?
Thank you, Joey.
No worries.
And then if anyone has any questions on how to upload things and how to work with this on command, you can always reach out to me. Please do so early on so that we can get everything in order prior to your closing, so you can get your check on time.
You're having growing pains on it. We're having growing pains on it too, right? So we're just trying to be as efficient as possible.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, you guys. Ben.
What? How are you guys doing?
How you doing, bud?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, so just real quickly, back on the rates again. I mean, that again could mean so many things, right? If you have buyers that are well qualified, now's the time to kind of say, look, maybe we have a better shot at certain properties now, because some people just can't qualify anymore because of the way the rates went. So, keep in contact with your client, just very influence for that. On the other side as well, for the selling on the seller stuff, is at the same time, get them that conversation going that, hey, look, property values, they could, because of rates, it might bring them down. So maybe this is the right time to sell. So keep that conversation going as well, if you guys can. Finally, I wanted to also say again, I do have these leads here that are able to help you pinpoint equity sources for specific properties, tracts, neighborhoods. Please reach out if that's something you want to look into and go forward with. And then finally, for the Rick Sharga talk last week, I knew it was short notice for the ones that did miss it. We are doing it again on the 10th, next Wednesday at 1 p.m. I'll be sure to get the link over as soon as we have it. If anyone wants to join and participate. Rick Sharga again is with Realty Tract, and he's just gonna educate everybody on his company's view on the foreclosures, if there's any incoming, on rates, and where he thinks the market's going for 2021 and beyond.
Yeah, I watched this presentation. It was really great, guys. Everybody should be on that. I'll shout out to Adam Pergamin. You need to be on that. You'll love it, Adam. It's just numbers upon numbers. You will you'll enjoy the journey, right? I highly recommend it. Yep,
Right.
I'll be on it again, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just more information for us to go out there with our clients and just have more of a conversation piece and know what we're talking about. So
Absolutely.
well, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ben, for putting that together.
Okay.
All right. Charlotte, it's next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. He's doing it the second time. Yeah. Birthdays this week: Brittany and Doris, Angela, also Stephen, Mark Priceman, and Michael Howard. Happy birthday, you guys. Yeah. And closed escrows. Charlotte closed 2 escrows this week. Congratulations. Angela Bond and Christine closed 1. Sabine and Tiffany, Christina Kim and Chloe Kim also closed property. Anna Lee, congratulations. The Woodward team and Stella, congratulations. I believe Christine, that's the same Christina and yeah, yeah, same. Yeah, that they, it's nice to see 4 people from our office closing 1 deal. That's really great. Eileen Lanzo on Orange Grove and Stefan on Cherry Drive. Real, little fruity closings there. Go ahead. And next is new escrows. Kristen Lundgren, Red has a few that they put in this week. Pete, even in his, put Larchmont in. Pete had knee replacement surgery last week. James Presley, congratulations. Bates Hennington, Tracy, Pence, Jacqueline Jantz, Moon Kim, Antron put a couple in. Jan Hohenstein, Brian Studzenacher, congratulations. Anna Lee, another one. Terry Lloyd on Ridgely, and Linda Roth Burrell on West 58th Street.
We closed
question.
Kristen's deal on yesterday, and we closed Bates Hennington's yesterday.
Oh, all right. So that's we'll move those over. Yeah. Question. Who had the question? I'm sorry.
It's Terry. I closed Ridgely yesterday.
You closed also?
Yes.
Wrong list. Okay. So Terry closed. Linda closed also. And Bates Hennington on Heartland closed. Is that what you're saying? Yep. All right. Congratulations, you guys.
You're welcome.
For anyone who knows Linda Roth Burrell, please reach out to her and send your condolences. Her son passed away yesterday. So if you know her, then please send her a little love. Right. Okay. Next is closed leases. Day and Yvette and Jelena, Russell Roney, Tim, and also Yvette again there. Congratulations, you guys. Yay, yay, yay. New listings. Whoop. There we go. Let's go. Vivian Young on Broadway. She has a lease for 3,200, 1 bed, 1 bath, 637 square feet. Beautiful new building. Tiffany Chin, you want to talk about Falmouth?
Yeah, we've had that one before. We just refreshed it at a new price of $529,000. It's a 1-bedroom, 1 bath in Playa del Rey. On the top floor of the building, it has a pool, as you see, and a fitness room. And yeah, it's just clean, ready, move-in ready for someone who wants to be near the beach at decent prices.
Great. Stella Meyer on Avenida Senor in Portugal. Oh, 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Stella, are you on there? You want to talk about it? Well, she on.
Hi. Well, it's a little bit overwhelming, but it's a huge development in Portugal, just like it's 18 kilometers from Lisbon. And it's a brand new development. The first phase has been sold, and now they're taking orders for the second phase, which will be ready in July.
Sounds beautiful. Is it? Is there any water nearby, or is it?
Yeah, it's on a country, on a golf course. There's a lake. It's 15 kilometers from the coast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very close. Everything there is very close. You know how Europe is.
Yeah.
And it starts at 450 1,000 euros for 1 bedroom, and has amenities. It's 200 euros a month for homeowners association. It's an amazing place. They have shadows to Lisbon all day, all night, like 24 hours a day, security. It's a like very self-sufficient place. It's like a mini town, and it's very, very close to Lisbon, you know, and they give, and you get the golden visa if you buy a property.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Maybe that's my exit strategy there. Alexandra Dion has a lease for 1,795, 1-bedroom, 550 square feet on 6330 Orange Street. Imran, no, that's not correct. Imran's not even with our office. Let's go to the next one.
No, I think that one's co-listed with On, that's why.
Oh, well, then back it up. There you go. So Tron has a listing, 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 750 square feet, $525,000 on the at downtown Los Angeles, downtown LA, on the 9th floor. Cute little 1-bedroom. Chelsea Kyles has a new listing. I think this is one of her developers. It's 1186 South Lucerne. It's 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, 1,644 square feet for 1.35. Also, Day has 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 840 square feet. Looks like ×2 for 2,100 square feet in East Adams, on East Adams, 1166 East Adams. Looks like he has 2 listings there. There's 2 of 2. Well, there you go. So this is the same building, different look and feel. 4,000, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,680 square feet on this in this unit. All right. Laura Anderson has 5720 Glenny Lane. That is 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 1,520 square feet for 869,000. I think I remember this development. It's really cute. Ian Cherney has a lease, 2,300, 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 920 square feet on Flower. Michael Flanagan on 1410 North Sycamore, 3-bedroom, 3 bath. Let's try that again. 3-bedroom, 2 bath, 1,750 square feet for 1.65. Cute little cottage style, white picket fence, everything you wanted in the house. Tracy Bates on Waller in Harbor City. You want to talk about that? I saw you in there, Tracy. You want to talk about that?
It's actually a Bates Hennington listing. This is a new development in Harbor City, a KB Homes new development. This phase was finished last year. Our clients purchased, it's a resale. They've only owned it for a year, but in that year, and because of COVID, they had a lot of time on their hands. So they upgraded a bunch of stuff. And it's like a model home. So they're ready to sell it and move back into LA.
All right.
And we're doing showings. It's gotten a lot of activity already. So showings are starting this weekend.
Where is Harbor City?
It's like, they also call it West Carson.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, it's down the 110.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Thank you, Tracy. Ian Cherney also has another lease, studio 1 bedroom on 215 West 7th. And that is 1,250 square feet. No, $1,250 for a 1-bedroom studio apartment. Christina Kim on Prius Road has a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,440 square feet for $1.2 million. Tracy Pence in Valley Village. Tracy, you were on there. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Oh, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the car, so I'm not sure. Okay, so this townhouse is gorgeous. It's totally done. The kitchen is just breathtaking. The floors are great. Right there in Valley Village. I'm showing it this Saturday and Sunday, and the time slots are already filling up. So if anybody wants to see it, please just text me or call me so I can get you in. I think it will go pretty quickly. So
Great.
just let me know. Also, I don't know if it's in the slideshow. I don't think it made it, but I did just reduce my lease. That's in Sherman Oaks. It's a single family home on Buffalo. I reduced it to 3,000.
With the ADU in the back.
Yeah, but that doesn't include it. That's a total different address. So yeah, the front is it's 3,750, and this townhouse is listed at 595.
Yay.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Tracy. Bam. All right. Wants and needs. We do have a vendor coming up after this. That's going to talk about the forward living concierge. So just hold on. But let's do wants and needs. Let me get this out of the way before we go there. Scarlett, you have a want or need?
Can you hear me?
I think you said, can we hear you?
And you,
now I can.
I need like a cleaning service that can do a super deep clean. You know, we've had a bunch of work done on the house and we want to get it clean before the stagers come in. Anyone? Okay. Bueller? Anyone? Seriously, nobody has this?
I'm laughing, sorry.
I'm starting that company soon.
I'll give you one, Charlotte. I'll text you.
Thank you.
Everybody's a little reluctant to give up their cleaning person. It's like you protect your cleaning person because they're such a hot commodity.
No, that's not what I'm looking for, though. I mean, I have cleaning people, but he's kind of bigger than that. Like, I want somebody who's going to really go in and do
clinical
cabinet and really get it because it's dusty.
What about the people that are cleaning our office? Would they be appropriate?
Yeah, no, they wouldn't be appropriate.
No.
they're not as detail oriented as I would even like, and I'm a 15-year-old boy, Tim. But Charlotte's looking for like a crime scene cleanup. That's the level that she's looking for.
Charlotte, have you thought about reaching out to like Ecolab?
What?
You hear me? No, I was saying, have you thought about reaching out to Ecolab?
It's not, no, I mean, it's not like it needs, you know, COVID clean. It just needs a traditional deep clean.
Okay, yeah, because they do all types of different cleaning. So if you're not, look for just like something detail oriented, it should be able to do it.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna hire a different window cleaning company. It's just, you know, it just needs to be a team of people. Like I think probably three or four people would do it, not just like a single housekeeper, which is what I have. Thank you.
No worries. Anybody else wants, needs, fill the bucket? Thanks, Cameron. Nothing, huh? All right.
I just want to fill the bucket really quickly. Shout out to Raha. I love her and she's awesome. This is Tracy.
Yes, she is. That's great. All right, if not, let's move on to, is Isla here?
I am.
Hi, Isla, how are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
Now we have a special presentation. Oh, I love the graphics, Cam. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, Zoomcasa is the engine behind our concierge program. And in an effort to kind of memorialize the existing program and talk about what expansion, what they've actually expanded into in their offerings, Isla is here to do a little presentation. So it's all you, Isla, right? I have to say your name over and over again because I revert back to saying it incorrectly. That's why I'm saying it again and again.
Well, I appreciate that. And thank you for having me. Of course, I'm super excited to chat with you all just a little bit about the concierge program, and then hopefully at least explain it enough to where you have the details you need to get more information if and when you're interested. So to kind of give super broad strokes, general overview of the program. This program really initially rolled out, and in its genesis, it was really a seller-facing concierge program designed to help you all compete with the other concierge-like programs in the space that enabled your clients to defer the cost of home prep to close. And so this forward living concierge program was designed to do just that. It was a tool through which your seller clients could bundle the cost of staging, painting, more substantial renovations if they had significant deferred maintenance or any other needs that I haven't mentioned. They could defer the cost of those improvements to close, while our team worked with licensed and professional vendors to facilitate the improvements and get them done as a means to get the property sold for, highest and best. So generally, that's what the program was really initially designed to do. But in the past, year, as the market has evolved, the program has really adapted to that. And one of the huge new services that has rolled out with the program to really help you all continue to compete in the market is a buy before you sell service. And so this is a tool through which your clients can access their equity in advance of the sale of their home. So they can unlock up to 75% of their home's value prior to the sale of their home, while working with our team to really prep and improve their home and get it sold for highest and best when it is ready to be sold. So our team will work with you to do so. And really ensure that your clients can be strong buyers, because what this service specifically was designed to do is address the issue that a lot of your sellers are facing in a market where there's extremely low inventory, and being a contingent buyer is not a good position to be in. So by unlocking some of their value of their home and their equity to then go be able to make a non-contingent offer, qualify for conventional financing, and get into a home that they like with more favorable terms, we think that's a great way for you to compete with the iBuyers, the Zillow cash offers, et cetera, in this space, with the intention really to maximize your clients' equity and proceeds at the end of the day. And so essentially those are kind of the two large components of the service. I think we lost the presentation. Just a heads up on this
email.
So in any case, those are the two major components of the program. And maybe what we can do is talk a little bit about how those different tools work, whichever maybe is of more interest to those of you that have joined us today. We can spend some more time chatting through. But again, this tool is really a service that enables you all to really maximize the value you deliver to your and strategize solution with in this unique market that we're all facing. So that's my spiel and kind of general overview of the concierge program. there's anything particularly, Joey, that you'd like me to highlight, or again, if there's any questions from folks here on this call, you know, what I think a really essential takeaway to the concierge service is that it's really been designed with a more high touch support than it was previously. So now that we're relaunching the program with some of these additional solutions available, there is a dashboard that you log into as agents to request service. You get assigned a dedicated rep who supports your use of the program. And all in all, there's just additional support to make sure that this is a tool that you can use and put in front of your clients, because we don't necessarily expect you to sit with your clients and explain to them exactly how buy before you sell would work, but rather to explain to them, hey, when you work with me, these are the tools that you have. What will help you, and how can I connect you to the right component that will make this tool, you know, something that works to your client's benefit. So essentially, there's a new process associated with working with us that really ensures you have that support you need to make these tools accessible, as opposed to expecting you to memorize everything I just said. So with that, did I cut off?
I won't believe that there aren't any questions. So if you're ready to open it up to questions, I see Charlotte's lips moving, but I do not hear her.
Well, I have a million questions. Like I have like
Go on.
quickly though. You're saying 75%. I'm assuming that's an equity stake. And what is it going to cost them?
Yeah, great question, right? How much does it cost? So the way that it works is with our buy before you sell service specifically, and I apologize for the cat you're seeing in the background, but you can disregard her who's just listening in. So the way that it works is it's structured as two transactions. So in the first transaction, we purchase the client's home. We purchase the client's home for up to 75% of the appraised value. And the reason we do it this way is because by unlocking the client's equity through a purchase, this makes them now able to be a non-contingent buyer, as well as handle any debts against their property so that they can qualify for conventional financing. There's no, you know, loans against them, so their DTI is thus cleared to enable them to qualify for conventional financing. So that's the first leg of the transaction. We purchase the home for up to 75% of its appraised value, depending on the price point. And then the second leg of the transaction is when we relist the home with you, their agent who submitted them to the program, and we relist it following any staging or prep that was necessary. And the cost of that staging and prep we front, and we facilitate those improvements, again, if they're necessary. And it's relisted at hopefully a higher price. We're in a crazy uptrend right now. So even just a couple weeks, in many cases, will afford a client, you know, more favorable price to list their home at. In any case, we relist the home, and when it's sold on that second leg of the transaction, the client receives the additional proceeds owed to them. So they receive the full sales price less the original 75% we paid for their home, less our fee, which is typically 3 to 5%, to directly answer your question, and less your commission. So you're making commission on the final sales price, which is obviously substantially higher than the price we pay for the home. So that's when your commission is paid out, and the client is paying typically 3 to 5% to go through the process. And what's really critical to understand, and this is something we'll explain to your clients, if by unlocking up to 75% of their equity, if they have enough funds to go qualify for conventional financing, capture a low interest rate, write a non-contingent offer that shaves off, you know, some costs, right? Because writing a contingent offer is typically associated with adding additional, you know, $10,000, $20,000 to your offer to get it accepted. And they can avoid their interim mortgage, avoid the cost of a double move, plus maximize the sales price for their home because we front the cost of staging, prep, anything that's necessary. Then in many cases, the cost savings plus the higher net on their sale average out to offset our cost altogether. And again, this is something we go through with the client directly, depending on their current situation. Those numbers will vary, but we do a full presentation and explain to them, look, this is how much it's going to cost you, and this is exactly what it will look like. when reduced from your proceeds, but we can compare that to a traditional sale and see really the value that you're getting and if it makes sense for you.
Joey, can we have Ela come back and at our team meeting and do like a longer presentation, because it's already noon, and I think like I want some more details and get into the real meat of it. Can she like take up half the meeting next time or something?
Well, how about if we did something like her teaching a class on it, where she could do a class like right after the meeting, just like slip into, half, because I really do think that, it could take some time to really break down, right? And she has some models to show and such. So yeah, no, this is, I wanted to get her as much time as possible. And she's here today to answer questions. See, Michelle Mena has but I will also have her come back and like do an illustrative class, right?
And I'll make a quick note too, and I'll leave this in the chat. There is an enrollment page where you can actually create your login for the service. You can get assigned to a dedicated rep, meet with someone one-on-one and talk to them about a client you have, or just give me the details. So I'll leave that link in the chat so that if you need access to this like yesterday, you can go and enroll, meet with a rep, like I said, as immediately as you'd like to, and get those questions answered. But I'm happy to come back as well.
Why don't you quickly just go over the levels of enrollment, because they get a free membership in a pro, or yeah, there you go. Boom.
So this is the link that I'll leave in the chat, and I'll actually do so while I'm showing my screen. You can enroll at our free level, which means you just want to offer the deferred payment for listing prep, or you can enroll for a paid tier, which means you want to offer buy before you sell. Some of our additional services, we have a whole lot that I haven't even touched on, like senior solutions, moving concierge, and so on. But because of our partnership with Forward Living, you can enroll at no cost. So this $249 becomes $0, and you can use code RELAUNCH, as I've listed in the chat, to click subscribe, put in the code, remove the cost, and then create your login credentials. And immediately once you create those credentials, you'll get a link to schedule a meeting with a member of the team who will go through everything with you. We'll explain how it works, get a login to the dashboard, which you can select sign in here to actually sign in. And there's also a ton of resources in that dashboard to enable you to get marketing, submit clients, and so on. So it all lives on this page, zoomcasa.com/KW You can enroll for the paid tier for free. I recommend doing that, and then getting a meeting with a member of our team and deciding what aspect of the service works for you and what you're interested in. And from there, we can work with you to make sure that it's really dialed into your business for your client.
Scroll down a little bit more so we can see all the other stuff that comes, just you got all this great stuff that comes along with it, right? Social media templates and monthly webinar. I know a lot of people were asking for collateral materials that they can use in their listing presentations and such like that. So we have, I know Joey did some of that in his new listing presentation, but you also have some social media pieces and such that you could use, right?
Yep, and when you log into the dashboard, there's a button that says marketing. Can't miss it. You can select that, and if you need custom materials, it'll route you directly to Joey with the Forward Living marketing team, and he'll meet with you and can get you dialed in with any custom materials you need, or connect you to the right resources. So it's all integrated. I worked with Joey to establish some of the marketing, and they've done a great job to make some of those assets really accessible and beautiful. So there's a ton of resources available to you as immediately as you'd like to use them.
Great, Isla. Michelle Mena, did you have a question?
Nope, that was an error.
Okay, raise your hand there. So anyone else have a question for Isla?
Yeah, I'm wondering, what is the official name? Is it KW Concierge or is it Zoom Casa, the brand?
Well, Well, it's Zoomcasa is our service provider, powered by, right? What it is either Forward Living Concierge or KW Concierge you can use.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Powered by us. So, there's some involvement of our name in the contracts the client signs and so on, but the branding component is AW Concierge.
Isla, do you think that it's more useful to speak with a rep directly about kind of our questions, or do you think that, I mean, I don't know how divergent your program is between one property and another.
Right.
Should we wait for the class, or should we just reach out to a rep and start throwing out questions?
We're happy to meet with you. So I would say, call us, or I'll leave some contact information in the chat as well. If you want to just reach out to me, I can connect you to the right people. Attend the class if you'd like. I mean, the service and kind of the mechanics of it will be pretty much the same for a lot of the clients we deal with, but there is some, there's some differences amongst the different folks that we work with and the needs. So if you have something really specific, like an immediate client that you're interested in talking to us about, I think getting in touch with us directly and meeting with someone one-on-one will really help answer those questions. But of course, hop onto the class, ask any questions you'd like to hear, and hopefully I can give you some of those answers ahead of time.
And this doesn't change our existing relationship of utilizing you guys for just stuff that's used to be paid out of escrow. It's the buyback thing is different, correct?
Right, exactly. So now there's just more. There's just more services available. That is still available for those that aren't interested in the new services. This basic plan is really designed to kind of keep the service the same for those who want it to stay the same. But many, most of us want to enroll at this new level and get some of the new services. So it's all just been added on. There's no change to the prior service you had access to.
And just
toolbox.
Is there a limit? Is there a price limit that you have on this buyback program?
No, there's no price limit. How much we will advance to a client will depend on the liquidity of the market. If you're talking like a $5 million home, then the numbers will change, and that we likely won't purchase the home for 75% of the value. It may be closer to 65 or, something or other. But we don't have a limit. There's not going to be a number where we say, oh, that home it's priced, in excess of what we'll offer. But our underwriting team will establish what options the client will have based on price point, location, et cetera.
And then the client, even though the client's participating in the back end sale of the property, you as the owners, does that exclude their control over what offers they may or may not accept?
No. So per the contract that we sign with the client, when they do choose to move forward with this service, they have control over really everything as it relates to, price point, price reduction schedule, even, being a part of the process of reviewing offers and accepting offers, what work will be done to the home in the interim, and what that dollar amount and scope really specifically will be. So they're involved in everything, even after we take title of the home, because they participate, as you mentioned, in really the full proceeds paid upon the resale in that whole process. So there's full transparency as to what is done, what offers will be entertained or accepted, and price point, et cetera.
So if you suggest doing some renovation that they think is unnecessary, they can say no.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. And that's all established prior to our even executing an agreement with the client. So prior to our even taking title or moving forward with the purchase, what we'll do is meet with the client and view the home and establish a potential scope of work and get their approval or disapproval of that potential scope and have a conversation about that.
And I realize this is brand new. Have you actually done it yet?
We have. We're a national company, so we've done this across a ton of different markets. We've seen a vast need for it. more of these projects in the past few months. And because it is a new service, we're getting calls every day. So it might be up to 3 dozen at this point, for all I know. But ultimately, we've seen a lot of success with the service. I'll highlight one question that comes up often that hasn't yet, and that question is related to timing. And really something that we've noticed in doing a lot of these projects actually is that a lot of times folks will use this as a tool to be a non-contingent buyer rather than a tool to actually get those funds in advance. And what I mean by that is a client can engage with us and initiate the process of going through buy before you sell and get under contract with us as a entity who will purchase their home. And once contingencies have been lifted, they can now be a non-contingent buyer and begin the process of buying a home without having to actually leave their current home and lease it back from us. So I just wanted to really emphasize and highlight that, you know, a lot of your clients might be interested in this as a tool to enable them to become a non-contingent buyer. And then once they're ready to close on a home that they've found, that they love, that they want to purchase, we can move forward with actually closing escrow on our purchase to avoid the interim time where they would potentially have to lease back their home. So again, something we've picked up on just by doing a number of these projects and realizing really how this tool can work for clients in that particular situation.
And does that if the timing works out, that would exclude their debt on the initial home from their debt to income ratio for their new one?
It would. So essentially they would tell their lender, you know, I'm qualifying for financing and I currently have X mortgage balance, but I have a non-contingent, I'm in a non-contingent binding contract with, you know, an entity who will be purchasing my home on X date, or if the escrow close date hasn't been established, just with the understanding to the lender that we are under contract. And typically that's sufficient for them to establish an accurate DTI and then move forward with the approval process so that they can be a non-contingent buyer, get that financing secured with the knowledge and awareness that we'll close our purchase just before they close on theirs, enabling them to actually get those funds in advance of their purchase.
And I presume that makes, when you talk about lease back, because the initial presentation was basically about their home being bought while they were looking for a home so that they could have that cash available to them. People wouldn't want to lease their own home. So this would be the way to mitigate that.
Exactly. So just as you said, as much as folks don't want to lease their own home, we don't want to necessarily be in the business of being landlords on a number of homes, right? So to avoid that, that's essentially what I'm saying. Exactly what you said. They can avoid that by staying under contract with us, being a non-contingent buyer to go purchase their home. And then once they're ready, we will close on our purchase. We can even release funds to them in advance if they need some for the earnest money deposit on their purchase, but they don't actually have to close and transfer title to us in that interim until they're ready, enabling them to be a little bit more flexible timing wise and avoid incurring any costs, because our 3 to 5% does not begin to, you know, accrue until we actually close. So they're avoiding any cost in that interim.
And that, what is that 3 to 5% based on?
It's typically based on timing as well as price point. In most cases, because the market's so hot right now and a lot of homes, there's a lot of liquidity in that the homes will sell quickly. So our risk assessment affords us to offer a client a base fee of 3% for the first 45 days that we own the home. And in most cases, it stays at 3% because homes are selling so quickly. However, after 45 days, it'll accrue at another 0.5% thereafter. Making it typically around 3 to 5%. But again, this is subject to change based on, you know, the market and the liquidity of that market that the home is situated in. And it's a conversation we have with the client directly.
So if there was work that needed to be done on the home after they moved out, that took a little while, that would increase the essentially interest that they're paying to you.
Potentially, it just depends on how long the work will take. So, you know, if we're looking at super substantial renovation and the client's looking at potentially 3 months of a holding cost, essentially, then that's a conversation we'll have with them and perhaps work out a better cost structure, because we don't we want to make it work for the client if we can. But in most cases, the work on the home won't necessarily take, 30 days, maybe a couple weeks. And then, they would be subject to any cost that's accrued thereafter for, following 45 days, another 0.5% for every 30 days thereafter.
I guess what I'm really getting at, Isla, is most of my clients would be like, wow, this is really interesting. What's the catch? How are you making money? So that they understand it. Nobody's saying you shouldn't make money. They just kind of want to know, because 3%, usually with the shorter term loans, which is essentially what this is, the rate would actually be higher. So I guess that's really my question, is how are you making money on this so that they understand whether it makes sense for them or not?
Exactly. And so because there's variance as to how this will work, and really the benefits to a client are different, because some clients have a mortgage balance and they want to avoid that cost, and that's associated with the process, and that's something they're accounting for. Others, maybe they just want to avoid the double move. There's a lot of different variables that a client is going to consider when they think about if this will work for them. And because of that, and because our cost is 3 to 5%, and there's some variance as well in that based on timing and market, we get the client on the phone and really go through the details with them and try to make it work for both sides, because we will make money, right? We have a cost associated with this process, but our goal is to help your client participate in the upside of the resale of their home, as opposed to an iBuyer or another similar solution, which would not afford them that opportunity and would, cost them substantially more. So
I have a question. My question is there potential for us to be marketing this as part of our services, and they're seeing another agent from a non-Keller Williams agency nearby offering the same service that turns out also to be you?
Is there potential for that? Yes. In your market, we haven't rolled out this program really fully across every partnership we've established. But again, we're a national company. We've established partnerships with leading real estate companies of the world and a number of other major, real estate brands. And so for that reason, to say that you wouldn't encounter our service in the market through another, brokerage would not be correct. But it's really, you're talking specifically about marketing, and I can't say that a lot of our partners specifically in your area will have as much of a marketing push as you do. And there's not many marketing teams that I meet with consistently, whereas yours I'm meeting with on a monthly basis to really make sure that this is a tool that's getting in front of your clients, because it's only, whether or not we have a relationship with the brokerage, if they're not bringing it up in the conversation, it doesn't really matter. So hopefully that answers your question. We're doing our best to make this a tool that you can market effectively and really help you compete.
And is this 3 to 5%? What is that based on? Obviously, it's not based on a per annum interest rate. Is it based on the purchase price of the house that you've paid, or the sale price of the house when it's done?
Yeah, it's based on the final sales price.
So it's essentially a pretty significant added commission. That actually makes sense then in an explanation to a client. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So we're incentivized by the same thing that you are and that they are, and that is the final sales price of the home. Although, our goal is that we position this to a client to help them avoid other costs associated with the traditional sale and being a contingent buyer, to make this a tool that makes sense for them and, of course, affords us all the chance to make money. So, yeah.
Right, and some of that, as you said earlier, is counterweighted by your other services, which the getting a better dollar, getting a better price or sale price for your property with the other concierge offerings that come into play.
Exactly. So with that,
That's really, Isla, so great. And we're gonna schedule you for more time. A lot of people want to go in deeper with some of even the other programs and other services that you offer. I always say that you guys are willing to do almost anything to a property, and there's really not there's not a really limit to what you guys are willing to do. But then there's that fine balance of, overdoing, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it'd be great for the agents to learn about some of the minutia of the other pieces. Although this is, all of these. How many times are you going to use this in your business? There's I wish I had a product like this. And then you have the product and you take it, and then you have, the three instances where you wish you had a product like this, maybe one of those will see the value in it and want to go forward with it. But it is an amazing tool to have in your toolkit as a solution for buying forward. Just this one, and then there's great solutions for doing work on your house, and there's their moving piece and the seniors program and all the other other pieces of the value of this of the toolkit that you provide for our agents. So thank you. You did a great job.
Lila, just generally, Zoom Casa. Sorry, I asked this question earlier, Joey, but Isla wasn't on the phone. How backed up are you as far as just the general services you provide? It used to be like we would call you, and it would take about 2 weeks before you could come out and start assessing a property. Is that still the case?
Yeah, so no, it's not. Really, the way that it works now is when you submit a listing, one of our designers gets in touch within 1 day and plans to schedule someone as immediately as possible to visit the property. And to support that, we've done a ton of hiring. I don't know exactly the time that you're referring to when timing was, a little bit longer than it should be, but we've done a ton of hiring across every kind of different sector of our company, and to include designers and also sourcing more vendors, and then folks on my team that help with informing you of how these services work. So to answer your question, we aren't backed up in that we don't have time to take on new projects. We certainly do. And we have new members of the team to really make sure that we can meet whatever timeline that you have, really, because that's kind of what it's all about.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Isla. And we'll be seeing you soon. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks.
Right? Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Isla.
Bye, guys.